My dad's new wife told everyone I was too dramatic when I said I didn't feel safe at their house, but turns out their security camera caught everything, and now even my dad doesn't know how to defend her. The first time I said I didn't feel safe at my dad's house, everyone looked at me like I'd grown two heads. "You're being dramatic. She's just trying to bond with you. You always take things the wrong way." That's what I got. Even from my dad. Especially from my dad. When he remarried 2 years ago, he acted like he was rescuing himself from loneliness. "She makes me feel young again," he said. That was great for him. But no one asked how she made me feel. The first time I visited their house after the wedding, she told me I should knock next time. Even though it was still listed as my home address on most of my documents. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. She handed me a list of house expectations. Printed. Bullet-pointed. Laminated. Things like, no shoes past the foyer. Dishes must be done immediately. No sleepovers unless pre-approved. Then, she smiled and said, "It's just about respect." Right. Respect I was expected to give. Never get. My room had changed. Not just redecorated. Replaced. My books? Boxed. My photos? Tucked in a drawer. My bed? Gone. In its place? A pull-out couch and a Peloton. She called it the wellness room. Wellness for who? I asked. She said it was a shared space now. "It's not like you visit often." I used to. But now? Every visit felt like walking into someone else's house wearing my own name tag. Then came the comments. Little Jev she'd slide in when my dad left the room. "You'd be prettier if you smiled more." "Are you sure that outfit's age appropriate?" "Wow, you eat a lot for someone your size." They weren't loud. They weren't obvious. But they stuck. Like thumbtacks in soft skin. I tried to tell my dad. He shook his head. "You're just sensitive." Like it was a flaw. Like my ability to feel made me unreliable. One night, she blew up at me for using the downstairs bathroom instead of the one in the guest hallway. Said I violated her privacy. I reminded her that I grew up in this house. That I used to live in this house. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You don't live here anymore." My dad stepped in. Tried to calm her. Then looked at me and said, "Maybe just use the other one next time." I packed my bags early that night. Said I had work in the morning. I cried the entire drive home. After that, I kept my distance. But it didn't stop. I found out she'd told the rest of the family I was unstable. That I'd always been a little dramatic. "She's not used to sharing," she said. As if I was 5. As if losing your room, your space, and your sense of safety was a tantrum, not trauma. She started texting me directly. Passive-aggressive little notes. "Just a reminder, we need 72 hours notice if you're planning to visit. Your dad gets really anxious when you leave without saying goodbye. I hope you're not still mad about that little misunderstanding. We're all just trying our best." I stopped answering. She sent longer messages. Then voice notes. Then she started contacting my aunt. Said I needed help. That I was spiraling. I hadn't done anything. But now the story had moved beyond me. And somehow, I was the one who looked unstable. My dad and I barely spoke for weeks. He sent me short texts, check-ins. I mean once. Nothing real. Until he called. "I think we should talk." He said it softly. Like it was a peace offering. I didn't want to. But part of me still wanted to believe he'd finally listened. He invited me to dinner. Just the three of us. I almost didn't go. But then he said, "We got a new security system." She insisted. "You'll be on camera now. Everything will be recorded." I froze. Everything would be recorded. Suddenly, I saw an opportunity. Because if she wanted to perform for the family, then I'd perform for the lens. And this time? The lens would see her too. I showed up at 6:58 p.m. Dinner was scheduled for 7 o'clock sharp. Her words, not mine. The house looked the same from the outside. Same mailbox. Same porch light. Same curtains she made my dad install to soften the front windows. But I didn't feel the same. Because this time? I wasn't walking in to keep the peace. I was walking in to pull the pin. She opened the door before I could knock. "Oh, you're early," she said, too cheerful. I wasn't. "I'm on time." She laughed like I'd told a joke. Come in, come in. You remember the rules, right? No shoes past the foyer. Use the guest hallway. Announce yourself before entering any closed door." I recited it like a spell. She smiled like it worked. My dad greeted me with a half hug. "Hey, kiddo." He looked tired. Or maybe just small. Smaller than I remembered. The table was set like it was Thanksgiving. Cloth napkins, place cards, candles. They never did that when it was just me. She sat across from me. My dad sat at the head. I faced the main hallway. Right under the new camera. I made a show of glancing at it. She noticed. Don't worry. It's not weird unless you make it weird. I smiled. Then you've got nothing to worry about. We made it through appetizers. Salad. Dry chicken. Small talk. Then came the turn. So, she said, leaning in, your dad tells me you've been having a hard time adjusting. My fork paused. Adjusting to what? She blinked. To changes. To adult relationships. To letting go of the past. My dad cleared his throat. She just means the transition's been rough for all of us. I tilted my head. So we're calling it a transition now? She laughed too brightly. What would you call it? A slow erasure of everything that used to make this house feel like mine. The air changed. She put down her wine glass. Look, I know we got off on the wrong foot. But it's not fair to blame me for. I cut in. Replacing my bed with an exercise bike? Telling people I'm unstable? Making me schedule visits like a guest? My dad shifted. Okay, maybe let's all calm down. I'm calm, I said. You told me this would be a good faith conversation. So let's have one. She folded her hands. You always make me out to be the villain. I nodded. Because you keep handing me the script. I stood up slowly. Walked to the hallway. Faced the camera. I looked straight into the lens and said, just so we're clear, I've tried to be polite. I've tried to express how I feel. I've been told I'm sensitive, dramatic, difficult. I'm done with that. I turned back to them. I'm not asking for space anymore. I'm claiming it. And if this house no longer has room for me in it, that's fine. But don't rewrite history while I'm still here. She stood up, eyes wide. You came here to threaten us? No. I came here to stop pretending. My dad stood too. Sweetheart, maybe we should talk. Save it. I grabbed my bag. I'll let the camera speak for me. I walked out without looking back. That night, I sent my dad a message. Watch the footage. From the moment I walked in. Then decide who's overreacting. He didn't reply. Not that night. Not the next day. But 2 days later, I got a voicemail. It was him. His voice was quiet. Cracked. I watched it. All of it. I'm so sorry. He didn't say anything else. But he didn't need to. Because for the first time since she moved in, he finally saw what I'd been trying to say all along. And this time, he didn't hear it from me. He saw it for himself. In full color. In real time. In his own home. And that was the beginning of the end. After the voicemail, I didn't respond. Not because I didn't hear him. But because I needed to know the apology wasn't just regret. I needed to know it was awareness. For days, I stayed quiet. Not silent from spite. Silent from survival. Because after years of being labeled too sensitive, sometimes the loudest boundary is no reply. A week later, he emailed me. An actual email. It was long. Measured. No excuses. He said he watched the footage 3 times. Not just dinner. Other visits too. Ones I'd long forgotten. He saw her facial expressions shift when he left the room. He saw how I shrank a little more every visit. He saw the way she smirked after I walked upstairs. He wrote, I didn't protect you. I protected peace. And it wasn't real peace. He ended it with, I miss you. I'd like to earn back your trust, if you ever feel safe enough to try. I read it twice. Then closed my laptop. Because here's the thing about healing, it doesn't come with an invitation to return to the place you got hurt. It starts when you realize you don't owe anyone access to the version of you that stayed silent. 2 months passed. I started therapy. Not because of him. Not because of her. Because I needed language for the weight I'd been carrying. My therapist asked, what would it take for you to feel safe around your dad again? I said, I don't want to feel safe around him. I want to feel safe near myself. She smiled. That's a better goal. Eventually, I texted him. Just one line. I got your email. Thank you for seeing it. He replied, I'm here. When and if you want to talk. I didn't go back to the house. Not for holidays. Not for birthdays. But he met me for coffee. Just him. He showed up early. Wore that sweater I bought him years ago. The one she said was too childish. He didn't push. Didn't defend. Didn't blame. He just asked questions. Real ones. Like, what was it like for you? And, why didn't I see it? I told him the truth. Not to punish him, but to free myself. After that, we talked every few weeks. Sometimes on the phone. Sometimes over lunch. I never asked if she knew. I didn't care. He never brought her. He never asked me to. We kept it separate. Not as revenge. As recovery. 6 months later, he called. Told me he'd moved out. Said it wasn't just about me. Said he'd started seeing how many of his friendships, habits, thoughts, had slowly become extensions of someone else's rules. He said, I let her convince me that love was compliance. It's not. I didn't cry. But something cracked open in my chest. Because for the first time, he didn't ask me to come home. He just asked to meet me where I was. And sometimes, that's the only version of repair that works. I still don't go back to that house. Someone else lives there now. But I printed a still from the camera footage. The moment I stood up and looked directly at the lens. I framed it. Put it above my desk. Not because I want to remember the pain. But because I want to remember the moment I stopped performing. And started choosing peace. Mine. Not theirs. Because in the end, maybe I was dramatic. But I was also right. And now? I don't need the camera to prove it. I've got myself.